Welcome back to the channel. So, another unaliving happened, unfortunately, in the California Department of Corrections. And as far as I know, the level 4s are still locked down. Interesting. Welcome back to Broken Bobby's transformation page. In the late 80s, I became involved with drugs and would eventually become part of that lifestyle of trafficking, addiction, and violence. Over the next 20 years, I would be in and out of jail and prison. If you're thinking about trying something or you're dealing with addiction, your life don't need to go down the same path mine did. I hurt a lot of people, both physically and emotionally. These are my stories of how I transformed my life, and you can too. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So, in this one, we're going to talk about another unaliving that occurred on a level 3 yard at Wasco. So, are they going to lock down all the level 3s now? I don't know. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, drop a comment, share the video. It really helps to get the message out. And hit that notification bell so that if I drop a new video or I go live, you will be notified and you can check it out. So before I get into this story, here's the thing, guys. I talk about sobriety and stuff. Some people end up in prison over narcotics, over substances and stuff. We tend to act a little differently when we're using. Some people say, oh, I'm better when no, you're not. Knock it off. So let me give you guys the scenario. As far as I know, the level 4s are still locked down. I believe some of them have their tablets back now, which is a good thing. And on the subject of the tablets, I want to tell you guys, go over and check out this channel. It's called The Outlaw News. And he recently did a video about the internet blackouts. God, I'm having trouble saying the words. Excuse me. And he makes a reference to the Twilight Zone. And I feel like he did a really good video on that. That's The Outlaw News. So check him out. He does some good interviews with some real people, and some good content over there. So check out Outlaw. Now let's get into this one. So at approximately 2:29 p.m., staff observed incarcerated person Jose Castro and Darnell Rodas attacking incarcerated person Angel Carrasco in Facility A. This is a level 3 yard, guys. Level 3. It goes on to say staff quelled the incident using chemical weapons and non-lethal options. It goes on to say Rodas and Castro have been placed in RHU, which is Restricted Housing Unit, or ADSEG, as we used to call it, pending investigation. Now, let's get into who these people were a little bit and, where they came from, and we'll talk some more about it on the other end. But the victim, Mr. Carrasco, was 34 years old. He came from Tulare County on December 31st, 2009. So he'd been down for a while. He'd been down 15 years or so. And he was sent to the Department of Corrections for unaliving and other charges. His sentence was life without the possibility of parole. The alleged attackers, Mr. Rodas, was 22 years old, right? And the article goes on to read, was most recently received from LA County. So he's 22. He's obviously been in prison before. And most recently, he was received on February 28, 2024, about a year ago. His sentence was 4 years for second-degree robbery and as a second striker. Mr. Castro was also received from LA County on January 13, 2025. He just got there. And he was sentenced to 21 years for voluntary manslaughter with an enhancement for a firearm. So before I go any further, I want to send my condolences to all the families, the victim's family, and there's a lot of victims here. Obviously, some are, the families are the biggest victim of it all, in my opinion. We, as individuals, we make choices, right? We're taking penitentiary chances on the streets, and eventually those penitentiary chances catch up with us, and we end up in places like this. Now, level 3, most people don't think too much of a level 3. It's the level 4s that are usually rocking and rolling, but this is the second unaliving in Wasco in about 6 months. So obviously this yard is pretty active. Now, like I said, Mr. Rodas, who's only 22 years old, was in there on a 4-year bid. 4 years as a second striker. So, he had a date. And, I don't know any of the circumstances of why this happened, but I want you to think about this. We're out here using, right? We're taking penitentiary chances by dealing, by robbing people, by doing all of these sorts of things that come with addiction. This guy went in on a 4-year bid. He's probably not coming home. Second striker with an institutional unaliving, if, allegedly. But if that conviction comes down, chances are he's going to be LWOP, life without parole. 22 years old. Like, that's a tragedy in itself. A lot of us realize when we're heading to prison that we signed up for this life, and we have that understanding that, I didn't do much time. I was pretty active on the yards that I was on. I thank God every day they didn't send me to a level 4 yard, because my circumstances may be a lot different these days. This happened on a level 3. So it just goes to show you, these lockdowns. Check out that video by Outlaw News, though. It's internet blackouts, and I forget the exact title, but go check him out. Give him a subscribe. Good channel. Things in there are not all that some of our homeboys may make it out to be. Prison's a treacherous place, and you could lose your life on a level 1. I've seen it happen on a level 2. It's not glorious. It's not anything to be glorified. And I can't stress enough, if you're dealing with addiction, find some help. Because, I'm not saying dude got that robbery over an addiction, but there's a pretty good chance that's what happened. I don't know any of these individuals personally. I'm just reading off of a CDC press release. And, tragedies like this happen all the time. So, when you go and you end up in these places, like it's no fight or flight, it's fight. That's all there is. If you get into something with somebody, then you have to handle your business. And that's just what it is. So, when in Rome, you do as the Romans do, right? And that's what's the kind of stuff that happens in the Department of Corrections in California. So I would suggest, if you're thinking about getting into sobriety, today's a great day to do so. Find a meeting and go check it out. Don't say nothing. Just go sit in the back of the room and listen to the message, and keep going back. If you don't like the meeting, then go find a different meeting. And chances are, if it's your first time going to meeting, you're not going to like the meeting. So, for me, like I went to several different meetings until I found one that I really liked. It felt like home for me, and it worked. I have 20 years clean now, and it's, luckily for me, I got a short term in prison, and I figured out that that wasn't the life that I wanted to pursue, and luckily I had a short enough sentence to where I was able to get out and stay out. Unfortunately for some of these people, that option's over. You know, I mean, the one dude's got 21 years already. He just got there. So, are they going to add another life sentence on that? Uh, Other dude had 4 years as a two-striker. That's terrible. 22 years old. Now he's probably looking at life. And the guy that did have life, his sentence is complete, unfortunately, at this point. So once again, I want to send my condolences out to the families. Uh, you know, it, we're not the victims; our families are. So, anyways, I hope everybody's having a great week as we get this new week started. Uh, I don't think I'm going to be going live later on tonight. I think I'm going to be going to get checked out. Uh, that's a whole nother story, though. I'll get into it at another point. Um, so, yeah, find a meeting that you like. Surround yourself with people that are doing the kind of things that you want to do, and it'll help you to get there. And don't look at the mountain, just start climbing.